Good morning, all. My name is Gauri Shankar, and today we will start a session on and discuss about the geography of Ramayana era. There are two things involved here. One is geography, and another is called Ramayana. We all know about Ramayana. It's the story of Sri Ram, Prabhu Sri Ram, and it is everybody in the Indian subcontinent knows about it. Now, understanding what is the geography, why it is relevant, why we need to know the geography of Ramayana. There are two aspects to it. One is how many of you will agree to that Ramayana is just a story, it's a myth. And how many of you will agree to the point that it is a reality, it was a history. So there is a huge section of people exist who say Ramayana is just a myth, it's just a mythology. There is nothing real aspects to it. And there is a considerable portion of people exist who believe that Ramayana is a history. So in this presentation, we will come to conclusion which one is more accurate. Okay. So first we will start with Ramayana. Ramayana is prevalent in India, and it is also prevalent in different parts of the world. For example, Malaysia has its own version of Ramayana called Hiyat Seri Rama. Burma has its own version of Rama called Yama Chetwa. Yama Rama becomes Yama in Burma. So it is Burmese version of Ramayana. Also, Cambodia has its own version of Ramayana. Thailand has its own version of Ramayana. Even today, the kings of Thailand are called as Rama. India, of course, has different versions of Ramayana. The Northeast has one version. Nepal has its own version. And Tibet has its own version, and so on. Indonesia has its own versions. Different islands of Indonesia has different versions of Ramayana. For example, Sumatra has its version. Java has its own version. Bali has its own version, and so on. Russia also has its own version of Ramayana. As far as Philippines has its version of Ramayana, and interestingly, Italy has its own version of Ramayana too. It is played very, it's not prevalent, but there exists, the texts are found which has its own version of Ramayana in Italy. Even in China and Tibet, several manuscripts have been found which has its own version of Ramayana. So one thing is true, that Ramayana is not just confined to India. It is spread across east and west of India. So the story is known about Sri Ram, Prabhu Sri Ram, Sita Ma, Lakshman, and Raghukula. The whole story, what has happened. So this is about Ramayana. Now we will see what is geography about it. What geography can tell us. So when we are talking about geography, we have three different types of geography when we study, or four different kinds of geography. One is called physical geography. So physical geography means we are studying physical aspects of Earth. So geography is nothing but simply studying about Earth. And physical geography means studying about features of Earth. For example, its mountains, its seas, its valleys, its plains, its plateaus, and how these natural physical forms creates various climatic conditions and weathers, local weathers, climates, how it's produced. So all this study is under physical geography. Human geography is another branch of geography which studies about people, how people interact with the geography. So the urban geography has a lot of concrete buildings, a lot of tar roads, parks, and various uh, amenities which are created by humans. Rural geography means there is a lot of farmlands, food is produced, lot of animals are there, cattle, buffaloes, cows, goats, so on. So how people are interacting with the land around it is comes under human geography. Environmental geography is a bigger aspect of geography where we study how environment is affecting humans and how humans are affecting the environment. And uh, fourth type of geography is regional geography. Regional geography is specific kind of environmental geography where we study each specific location and particular things about it. Now there is a small game. Now we have these various words like rivers, poverty, weather, recycling, tourism, coast, and so on. So I would ask some of you to volunteer and categorize which form of geography it falls on. Okay? So rivers, which type of geography it falls
Physical.
on? Sorry?
Physical.
Physical, yes. Poverty?
Poverty is human.
Human. Weather?
Weather is environmental.
Yes. Recycling?
Recycling is renewable.
Yes. Tourism?
Is human.
Human. Coast?
A coast is physical.
Yes. Mountains?
Physical.
Transport?
Human.
Rainforests?
Physical.
Yeah. Physical or environmental? We can say both. Deserts? Physical. Yeah. Yes. Climate change?
Environmental.
Towns and cities?
Human.
Population?
Human.
Maps?
Human.
And earthquakes?
Environmental.
Crime?
Human.
Migration?
Human.
Tornadoes?
Environmental.
Volcanoes?
Environmental.
Litter?
Human.
Health?
Human.
Soils?
Physical.
Glaciers?
Physical.
And tourism.
Human.
We already did it. Wonderful, Harshavardhan. You did very good. So Harshavardhan helped us all to categorize all these various terms and how they fall into different forms of geography. Now, once we understood this basics of geography, now we are interested in understanding the Ramayana. How Ramayana, what was the geography during the time of Ramayana? Now we have to understand what time period we're talking about. Okay, so can any one of you can help me out, can tell where do you think Ramayana happened? How many years ago Ramayana happened?
10,000.
10,000 years. Harshavardhan said 10,000. Any other guesses? Huh? Can any other guesses? When did Ramayana happen? What is the time period?
7,000 years ago.
7,000 years ago. Who was this? Who is this? Can you
Jeeval
tell?
Adesh.
Okay, wonderful. Shanmukh Tej. Wonderful. Okay, so yeah. You? Any other guesses? When did this happen? Okay, so dates, they said from 7,000 to 10,000 years and so on. So there are a lot of studies happened. When did actually Ramayana happened? And Valmiki Ramayana itself talks about birth of Ramayana. And Ramayana is said, Rama was born on Chaitra Suddha Navami, on Punarvasu Nakshatra. When this happened, there are 5 planets which are in same line, which are exalted then. And they also mentioned in Balakanda of Ramayana Valmiki that sun is 10 degrees to the up of Mesha. Mesha is one of the constellation. And Mars is in Capricorn in 28 degrees, at 28 degrees. Jupiter is in Cancer Capricorn constellation at 5 degrees. And Venus is in Pisces, Meena Rashi, which is at 27 degrees. And Saturn is in Libra, which is Tula Rashi, which is at 20 degrees east. So this is very accurate mentioning of where the planets and sun was when Rama was born. So what scientists did? There was a great scientist. Recently, there was a great scientist called Dr. Raja Ramana. He, in one of the conferences, said we should use these planetary positions to date when our scriptures, for example, Ramayana, when did Ramayana happen? When did Mahabharata happen? We can help, we can take the sky maps and position these parameters and can tell when did Rama was born. So a lot of scientists worked on it and they found out that there was a scientist called Pushkar Bhatnagar. He mentioned, based on astronomical evidences, by studying stars, he said Rama was born approximately 10th January 5114 BCE. BCE means before current era. Okay, so approximately 7,000 years ago. There was another scientist whose name is Sri P.V. Vartak. He said Rama could have born on 4th December 7323 BCE, which is approximately 9,300 years ago. And there was another scientist recently, he said, called Sri Nilesh Oak. He said Rama could have born 12,000 years ago, 12,240 BCE, which is 14,000 years ago from present date. Okay, and he estimated he was born on 29th November. But all these have some date issues. There is, for example, when the sun is what is mentioned here, they may not match everything. They can match Chaitra Suddha Navami, which is on that date, but some of these parameters are not matched. And recently, there was a book by Sri Vedavir Arya called the Chronology of India. In that, he mentioned about, he not only just dated the birth date of Rama, but also various aspects of Rama. That means his whole life. He mentioned that date of Rama, date of birth of Rama was 3rd February 5674 BCE, before current era. So which falls approximately 7,700 years ago. And not only that, he also matched the date of birth of Ma Sita, which is Janaka Navami, which is falls on 15th or 16th March of this time. Okay. And the marriage of Sita and Rama, Sri Rama Kalyanam, which is on Vivaha Panchami, which is he dated to be 5th December, this 5654 BCE. And he also dated when Sri Rama left Ayodhya for Vanavasa, which is on this date. So you can see Sri Rama was approximately 25 years or so. Then Hanuman, Sri Hanuman returned from Lanka. When did this happen? All these are based on Valmiki Ramayana. And when Valmiki was explaining or narrating story of Ramayana, he exactly said what he saw astronomically, what he can see in the sky. What are the planets? Where is the sun? Where is the moon? Where is the Jupiter? Where is the Venus? He pinpointedly expressed it. So based on those dates, for example, in Yuddhakanda, when Rama went to for a battle with Ravana, he said, "There is these stars are there in the sky, and the war is beginning." So like this, and when Rama was coronated, so lot of rishis are they said this is the best auspicious time. This is a Shubha Muhurta. So the Muhurta was mentioned. The Lagna, Muhurta, everything was mentioned. So based on that, the date was confirmed, which is to be approximately 7,700 years ago. So this is whole different various dates are we got into the picture based on the Ramayana. Now, so we confirm we're talking about geography 7,700 years ago. So how was India at that time? So we will see about all these three aspects, which is physical geography, human geography, and environmental geography during Ramayana time. Okay, so what are the clues we're getting from Valmiki Ramayana? So first is physical geography. As we are talking about geography, we will see a lot of maps. Okay, mainly Indian map, but Valmiki Ramayana talks about, narrates how the world was during Ramayana period. Okay, so Ramayana talks about Jambudvipa, and below Jambudvipa, so coming to south from the Jambudvipa, all these things exist. For example, Pushapitaka mountain, Suryanabhan mountain, Vaidyayuta mountain, Kunjara mountain, Bhagavati mountain, and Rishabhagiri, something like this. Okay, Jambudvipa is mainly India. Okay, and north of Jambudvipa is Himalaya, Sudarshana mountain, Kailasa mountain, waterless track. Waterless track, we can say it is Tibet, because it's a Tibetan plateau and we don't find a lot of water there. So it is and waterless track also can be traced to the Gobi mountain, Gobi deserts, cold Gobi deserts in Tibet region. Then Krauncha mountain and Uttarakuru and Somagiri, something like this. And if you go up north, you will see Brahmaloka. And in west, it is said Mount Meru is there and so on. And in the east, it said there are different types of seas exist. For example, seas of salt, Yamadvipa exists, then sea of blood exists, then various names are there, sea of milk, then Rishabha mountains exist, there is a freshwater sea exists, then Udaygiri exists, and so on. So this is just a description of or narration of the world geography. Now, scientists have thought, is this could be true? Then one of the scientists have actually mapped it on the satellite picture of Earth. This is the satellite picture of Earth, and this is like a narration of the map of the world during Ramayana period. So they have pinpointed this, and they found that this is the Aryavarta or Jambudvipa. interestingly, the name Jambudvipa comes from Jambuka, which is a berry, okay, Jambu berry. So which is prevalent in India, which is violet in color. A lot of people like it. Okay. So this is prevalent in India. So it comes from Jambudvipa is here, and Uttarakuru, which is mentioned here in the up north, Uttarakuru. Uttarakuru is found to be the border between Europe and Asia, which is the Ural mountain region. Uttarakuru. Ural. Uttarakuru. It founds in that region, Uttarakuru. Okay. And the geography of different mountains, which is mentioned here, can be found along the path from Uttarakuru to Bharat. So immediately we know Himalaya. So Himalaya, we know they exist between it starts from the Afghanistan all the way to Jammu Kashmir, Tibetan Plateau, Nepal, Bhutan, Sikkim, and it ends near the Malaya regions of Bangladesh and Myanmar. Okay, so this is all Himalaya mountain ridge, and the main peak mountains starts from the Afghanistan to Arunachal Pradesh. So this is the Himalaya mountain ridge, which is clearly here. Sudarshana mountain is somewhere up here. And all this Kailasha mountain is in Tibet, we know. And waterless track is Tibet, which is this region. And the Shakhadesha is pointed here. And the various oceans, which are mentioned here, they also traced these various oceans. For example, Sea of Salt. Salt means Lavana. Okay, so Lavana Shagara. Okay, then of milk and so on, Shira Sagara and so on. So various names are given on this way. Okay, and this is another map which also says, which talks about various geographical features. For example, the Valmiki Ramayana talks about there was a huge volcanic explosion happened in Deccan Plateau, which is Maharashtra region. Okay. And from the current geography, we can tell that Maharashtra falls under Deccan Plateau, which was formed by huge volcanic eruptions. So probably they have witnessed some volcanic activity there. And they have also mentioned about lot of earthquakes happening in Himalaya region. And they also mentioned there was lot of earthquakes and volcanoes exist in this region, Japan region, which is absolutely true, because there's something called Ring of Fire falls from Japan. So Japan has lot of volcanic mountains like Mount Fujiyama and lot of mountains, and lot of earthquakes happen in Japan. And similarly, earthquakes do occur in lot of Indonesia region and this belt. So Ramayana talks about earthquakes and also volcanoes in this region of the world. So they pretty much had good knowledge about the whole geography of Asia, of Bharat, and the Southeast Asia, which is the Indonesia or the islands of India. Okay. Now let's talk about human geography. What does Ramayana talks about human geography? Now, Ramayana talks about lot of urban cities during Ramayana period. Okay. And some of them still have the same names. For example, Kashi. Kashi means Varanasi. Okay. Which is present day Varanasi or Banaras. Gaya, which is in Bihar, which has the same name today. Okay. Gokarna, which is on the west coast of India. Gokarna is present-day Goa. Okay. And Avanti is present-day Ujjain. Okay. Hastinapura, which is present-day, which is border between present-day Meerut and Delhi. So which is in between that. So it talks about same regions what we are know today. It talks about Takshashila, which is the Takshila at present time, which is in very close to Islamabad in Pakistan, which was a great university in olden times. Okay, Takshashila. It talks about Takshashila. It talks about Jatapura, Kushavati, which is present day Ahmedabad region, Mahishmati, which is in the banks of Narmada, Kishkinda, which is in the northern part of Karnataka, and Kalinga Nagara, which is the present day Odisha, and in Ayodhya, which is exactly same location what is today. And if you go east of Ayodhya, we see Mithila, where the Sita Ma is born, Mithila Nagara, Mithila, so which is in the present day Nepal now, okay, which is in border of Uttar Pradesh and Mithila and Nepal, and so on. So various rivers are also mentioned, okay. So exact geography of rivers and a lot of big cities, urban centers are mentioned during Ramayana period, okay. And Ramayana Valmiki Ramayana also talks about town planning of cities. Okay. So in contrast to present cities in India, the earlier cities were highly planned. Okay. So there were cities in the form of like this. So these are the towns and these are the roads. Okay. And they name called Dandaka. Okay. The towns were like, or villages, towns are form of Dandaka. So it is rectangular shape of towns, which is prevalent in present day America and various other nations. Swastika is another type of town planning. Okay. Padmaka is another form of town planning. And Karmukha is another form of town planning. And this type of town planning we will see in Delhi region, and where the Rashtrapati Bhavan exists and the town around it, which is formed in the form of Padmaka town planning, and various other cities in Europe. Presently, we see, for example, Barcelona or various other cities, they have Padmaka or Karmukha kind of town planning even today. Okay. So all these different kind of town planning is mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana. Okay. And these are the cities which are mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana and its capital cities, modern names of those cities, and what are those rivers which are falling very close to those cities. For example, Ayodhya. Ayodhya's capital is Koshala and modern name is Ayodhya. The name remains same from last 7,700 years. Okay. Kampalya, which is part of Kampalya, and in Mahabharata time, we know Draupadi came from Panchala. So the capital is Panchala. So Draupadi is the daughter of Panchala Naresh, which is in Kampalya. And Kampili is the present name, which is in Uttar Pradesh now. Kashi or Varanasi is, the capital is Kashi and present day is called Varanasi. Giribraja or Vashumati, which is in Magda, which is in Bihar, and present day it is called as Rajgir. Prayaga, which is in Uttar Pradesh, it used to be called as Allahabad, and presently it is converted into, the name is called Prayagaraja. So same name is restored now. Okay. And Hastinapura, whose capital is Kurukshetra happened here. So Kurukshetra, which is in Mahabharata period, which happened in Meerut. Meerut, very close to Meerut, there is Kurukshetra, the town is there. The Kurukshetra land is visible. The town came up there, but Kurukshetra is still there, which is very close to Delhi. Mathura, where Krishna was born, Krishna was a king there. So Mathura, its capital during Mahabharata, during Ramayana period, is Surasena, and the modern name is Mathura. So the name stays same. Mahodaya is another city which is in present day Kannauj. For a lot of period during medieval India, that is from 1st century current era, 1st century CE to 15th century CE, Kannauj was the major capital of India. Lot of kingdoms, either Rashtrakutas or Gupta period kings and various other kings, they all made Kannauj as the capital. Giribraja, which is part of Kaikaya. Kaikaya is present day Afghanistan region. So present day Jalalpur is exist. And Vaishala is present day Vaishali, which is in Bihar, which is next to Ganga. Takshashila, as I said, it is part of Gandharva, which is part of northern Pakistan and southern Afghanistan, Pashtun region, what we call today. And present name is called Takshila. Okay, it is in the bank of Sindhu Nadi. And similarly, Gaya, the name stays same. So all these names of the cities are same even today, most of them. Okay. And Valmiki Ramayana not just talks about cities, it also talks about minerals. That means ores, where they found iron, where the iron ores are there, where the gold ores are there, or gold mines, iron mines, gold mines, silver mines, copper mines, and diamond mines. So it has been pointed exactly where it's found today. Okay. So another interesting point is till 1898, nobody in the world knew where to find diamonds. Only in India, the only source of diamonds for the whole world till 1898, which is still just 100 years ago, India is the only place diamonds are found. Okay. And similarly, gold and silver in abundant, and the technology of making steel is only found in India. That's why all nations across the world were, for example, European nations were always trying to find a sea route to India so that they can get these riches. Okay. So even 7,700 years ago, which is the Ramayana period, all these ores are known. All these mines are known about all these elements. Okay. And Valmiki Ramayana also talks about highways, trade routes and highways across India. Okay. So these are the trade routes as mentioned. So you can see from the present day Pakistan, which is the Gandhara region of that time, till Sri Lanka, everything was connected. Okay, various cities were there and all of them were connected. Okay, and this dark route is what is supposed to be the path taken by Prabhu Shri Ram in a quest to find Ma Sita. Okay, and this same route was traveled by Ravana when he did the Sita Aparhan, when she took Sita Ma, he flew in a Pushpaka Vimana. And Pushpaka Vimana also followed the same path. So it's like finding clues. Prabhu Shri Ram and Lakshmana, they both went and found the various kingdoms and various clues to find how Sita Ma traveled this route. So they followed the path and reached Lanka. Okay, so trade routes and various things are mentioned. Another interesting thing is, while mentioning the geography of physical geography of Bharat, it also mentions that sea coast, present sea coast, sea coast during Ramayana period is much further than what is today. So you can see that the dotted lines here was the sea coast during Ramayana period. And this solid line is the present day coastline. Okay. And this is the routes, trade routes within India. And this is the ocean routes to different countries. Okay. So Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana also talks about Burma, Thailand, Suvarnadvipa, which is the Indonesia, Yavadipa, which is the Java, and it talks about various other parts in Western area too. So all these sea routes were also existed. Therefore, people in Ramayana period were very good navigators. They had huge ships. Ships are built. There is a proper shipbuildings exist, and they used to travel across the whole of Asia, Africa, and parts of Europe. Okay, land routes were known and sea routes were known. All this information we can get from Valmiki Ramayana. Now let us look at into the environmental geography. Ramayana talks about forests. Okay, huge forests. And the names are given. For example, Dandakaranya, Chitrakutavana, Salavana, which is very close to Ayodhya. And if you go north, it is said as Kuru Jangala, forest in the Punjab, Haryana region. Okay. Chaitrathavana, which is in Himachal Pradesh region. And in the Punjab, in the Nepal and northern parts, Nandanavana. Okay. When it comes south, Tatakavana, the Tatakasura, that demon was found here, Tatakavana. And this is all is called Dandakaranya. Okay. Dandakaranya means a very difficult forest to pass through. Okay. And it also talks about rivers, various rivers on their journey. Okay. Kraunchikavana, Pampavana. Pampa is the present day it is found in Kerala and Karnataka region, Pampavana. Okay, and Kavari and so on. So all these vanas or forest are mentioned. Okay, and interestingly, Valmiki Ramayana also talks about different plant species. So it talks about 182 plants, different kind of plants, and 67 different kind of animals. So scientists, what they did, they found out, is it true? And they did found that various trees, they have mentioned 105 trees, aquatic plants, climbers, latas, shrubs, and small trees. And out of 67 animals mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana, 71 are mammals, one is reptile, aquatic birds, insects, fishes, and so on. It's mentioned like this. Okay. So this is the present distribution of forest in India. Okay. And this is what mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana. So Valmiki Ramayana mainly talks about Aushadhi Parvatam. Okay. Where Sri Hanuman went to find the Sanjeevani. It talks about geography of this region. Okay. Chitrakuta, where Prabhu Sri Ram, Sitama, and Lakshmana spent most of the time. Out of their 14 years, it is approximately 10 years they lived around the Chitrakuta Vana. Okay, which is present day something called tropical deciduous forest. Deciduous means during September, within changes season, either it's a dry season or a winter onset of winter season, or in autumn, the plants fall their leaves. Okay, they shed their leaves. Those are called deciduous forest. And Dandakaranya, which is in the present day whole of central India, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Andhra, Maharashtra, and so on. This whole region is called as Dandakaranya. And the southern part is called Kishkinda, Kishkindavana. Kishkindavana is whole of Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka region to the north of Tamil Nadu and Kerala. All this is Kishkindavana. And it also talks about elaborately about Lankavana, how the forests were in Lanka. So all these are present day classifications, and this was during Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana classification. So it talks about Chitrakuta Vana, for example. Okay, so Chitrakuta forest looks something like this. Okay, present day, which is in Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh. So if you see, the Chitrakuta region is in Madhya Pradesh and southern region of Uttar Pradesh. So this is Chitrakuta district at present times, which is very close to Ayodhya and Prayagraj. So this is the path Prabhu Sri Ram has traveled. And in Chitrakuta Vana, very close to it, also Bharata came and met him and so on. So this is Chitrakuta Vana. Okay. So which is exactly matches. So what more interesting thing is, when Valmiki Ramayana talks about, it talks about all these plants. Okay. For example, Brahmi, Katuka, Ativisha, Himamochika, and so on. All these plants, for example, elephant apple, bamboo, burr flower tree, okay, and so on. So it talks about all these medicinal plants, and it also talks about animals, flora and fauna. It talks about lions, presence of lion in Chitrakuta, that means near UP and Madhya Pradesh. It talks about monkeys, it talks about sambar deer, it talks about koot, which is Kanardava in Sanskrit, which is koot, which is a waterfall, which is a water bird, and bears, and cuckoos, which is kokila. Okay, so it talks about various animals. So interestingly, in present day India, we don't see lions in Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. Okay, present day Asiatic lions only exist in Gujarat. Okay, the whole of lions in Asia, where they are extinct, except in Gujarat. Okay, so during Ramayana period, lions used to coexist with tigers in this whole region, which can be found in cave paintings. A lot of people did cave paintings. In the caves, they did paintings, and they found that lion paintings there. So they saw it and they drew it. So it matches with the Ramayana. So during Ramayana period, lions used to exist in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and as south of Karnataka region. So lions and tigers used to coexist, live together during this region, during this period. And now when come to the Dandakaranya, Dandakaranya is central part of India, okay, which looks semi-arid. It's like a it's a rain-fed region. That means during monsoon period, it gets green, and during summer season, it gets very dry. So it is heavily dependent on rains, this whole region. And Dandakaranya is derived from Dandatrana. Trana means a kind of a grass. Okay, it's a long grass. So Dandatrana, where this kind of grass is, long grass is found, This is called as Dandakaranya. The whole region used to be found this grass. Okay. Because of this grassy plain regions, Indian cheetahs used to exist in the whole region from uh, from from the Haryana region till Tamil Nadu. Indian cheetahs used to exist, and they got extinct during 1950s due to hunting and habitat loss. And presently, this year, the government of India has again introduced African cheetahs into the India, and they live in Madhya Pradesh region now. Okay, so presently there are 20 cheetahs are introduced again into the India, and uh, yes, this is the Dandakaranya region, which is exactly mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana. It also talks about its flora and fauna, plants, medicinal plants, fruit trees, and so on, and the animals. For example, wood apple, okay, jujube, and sandal trees. It talks about beautiful fragrance when walking through Dandakaranya. It talks about the cannonball tree, a tree which has flowers like this, which is specific to Dandakaranya. It doesn't found in, they are not found in Chitrakootavana. Okay. And it also talks about existence of lions and tigers together. It talks about this goose. It talks about spotted deer. And the spotted deer is one of the animals which the Marichi become like a golden deer. And when Sita Ma saw it, she said, I want to raise this spotted deer. So Rama went, and you know the whole story, what happened after. So it is spotted deer is not found in Chitrakuta. It is only found in Dandakaranya region. Okay. So spotted deer and crane exist, and all these types of animals are mentioned. Okay. It talks about wolves too, Vakra. Varka is a wolf. Indian crane, Sarasa. Even today, there is a cranes called Saras cranes, which is Sanskrit word Sarasa, which means a crane, and so on. Mahisha, which is buffalo. Buffaloes, water buffaloes are very prominent in Indian rivers and small creeks, and so on. It is mentioned. Now, coming to Panchavati, there is a dispute about Panchavati, where the Panchavati is located. Some people say it is located in the Maharashtra region, and some say it exists in the Godavari region, which is Bhadrachalam Godavari region of Andhra Pradesh. So there is a dispute, but what we can say is the geography, when it talks about, it's part of the same Dandakaranya. So the geography and the features are same. So that's why there's a lot of confusion. What kind of region it is? But what is said is during Hemanta Rutu and Sharad Rutu, the Shishira during this time, there's a lot of the Rama came to Panchavati during the Hemanta, which is pre-winter season. During when he came, it was dew was cold, crops due to harvest, and light and fire was very welcome. So when he came, he found all these things. And Hemant Ritu set in after the passage of Sharat Ritu, and the climate is mentioned to be very pleasant, and summers were not hot, and which is prevalent in the whole region. So this description is found in this region. Okay. So in Panchavati, all these beautiful flowers are mentioned. I mean, Sita Ma was so happy to come to Panchavati because there was beautiful trees and all trees were flowering. There were beautiful birds. Every day they are singing, and they had very pleasant feeling when they were in Panchavati. They really liked Prabhu Sri Ram, Sita Ma, and Lakshman. They really enjoyed the time in that Panchavati. So it talks about various trees which are present day, and it also talks about rice. So rice is earlier times was prevalent only in near rivers where the stagnant water exists. Rice used to grow wildly. I mean, they need not to harvest. They need not to plow the land and crop it like how we do today. Rice used to grow wild next to the rivers. So people just used to, during the time, they just used to go and pick the rice up and they used to store it to cooking. So which is around this, all this description is during 7,700 years ago. Due to the lot of urbanization, we have lost the climate, the cold climate during in this central India region. So because of that and polluted waters, so because of that, current day at present, swans doesn't come to southern part of India. Some of them do come, but earlier times they used to travel. Okay, so swans and ducks used to, ducks even today comes, but swans have decreased. Okay, they found some region in the northern parts and so on. Okay, so all these are mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana. And when we come to Kishkinda, which is the Karnataka region, and it talks about lots of rocks, rubbles, rocks, and very dry in summer season. Okay, so Kishkinda is present day Bareilly district in Karnataka. Okay, and in that region, the Pampa Sarovar exists. Even today, the dam is created. So the lake has increased in size. So it became a Pampa reservoir. So this is the region where Rama goes there and during finding Sitama, they come to Pampa Sarovar and Rama describes when he sees the Pampa river, he feels very delighted. He feels very relaxed. So he does his tapasya there. He sits there and does meditation. So which is in the Karnataka region, which is dry and moist deciduous forest. So during the summer season, it's very dry, and during rainy season, it gets monsoon rains and it gets very lush and green. Okay, and in Kishkinda, these are the flowers are mentioned, which doesn't exist in northern part of Dandakaranya or Chitrakuta. Okay, it mentions jackfruit, panasa, jackfruit existing. It talks about this flower, okay, flame of forest. It talks about champaka. It talks about jasmine. Nice smell during the evening and night time. It talks about jackfruit. And in fauna, in animals, it talks about Hanuman langur, okay, which is predominant in the Kishkinda region, which is Karnataka and the southern part of India. Okay. The Hanuman langur also found in Rajasthan, also found in Odisha and Bengal region, but they are little different in their features than the Kishkinda region. It talks about ospreys, the birds of prey, where the Jatayu we come to know, and we talks about sloth bears, and we in Ramayana we know about Jambavanta. Okay, he is supposed to be in a tribe of bears. So probably we do not know. In our story, it is portrayed as a bear, but it could be he's from a bear tribe where they revered bears. Okay, and Rohita fish is found plenty in Kishkinda rivers and lakes. And during in Yuddha Kanda, when Meghanatha, the son of Ravana, when he injures Lakshmana, Jambavanta is the one who talks about there is a Aushadhi called uh, Sanjeevani, which is found in only in Himalayas. So he describes Hanumanta how to go there and how to find that herb. Okay. Yes. So if you have any questions, you can ask at the end of the talk. Okay. So make note of all those questions and we can discuss that. So during Aushadha, which is in Himalayas, this is the region which is described. I mean, the Aushadhi talks about trans-Himalayan region, which has Kailasha, Rishabha Parvat, and Mahodaya Parvat. So all this Parvat Shankhala comes under Aushadhi Parvata. Okay, it is said to be glowing and very aromatic. When you walk through the Himalayas region, there is a beautiful or pleasant aroma of the plants, okay, diffused into the surroundings. So, Hanuman goes there, and this is the alpine region. And Valmiki Ramayana talks about these creepers, which probably Sanjeevani, the present day botanist who study plants, they pointed out these could be the Sanjeevani, the Valmiki Ramayana talks about. Okay. Booty Sanjeevani, probably present day in Latin name, it is called Salignella. It could be the Sanjeevani. And these are the other possible Aushadhis Ramayana talks about. Okay. And it is said it is helps in fractured bones to help to restore the fractured bones. It helps in capable of restoring life to dead person. It is capable of healing wounds by weapons. It is capable of fractured. It is capable of restoring its original complexion. That means if the skin is damaged, it brings back to proper health. So various Aushadhis are mentioned in the Ramayana. And finally, when we come to Lanka, it also talks about lush green forest of Lanka. Since Lanka falls into the equatorial region and it's a rainforest region, so it is always lush, full with water and forest. And Valmiki Ramayana talks about all these things. Okay, it talks about biodiversity of that region, and it talks about Ashokavana as it is in Ravana Lanka's place, Ashoka, Indian oak, and it talks about various plants and fauna. Okay, and this road here is specific to the Sri Lanka. Okay, it talks about cranes and so on, and it goes on. So the conclusion we can draw is based on all these parameters of geography that we can clearly say that Ramayana is a history. It actually did happen. And it's not a mythology, as most of the people say. It's not a myth. Rama is not a myth. Ramayana is not a myth. It is actual history of Bharat. That is why we call it as a itihasa. Itihasa means that has been told. Okay. And the period of Ramayana is, as our scientists have said, it is approximately 7,700 years back. Okay. Valmiki Ramayana talks about that geography. And studying just Valmiki Ramayana, we will know that Bharat during that time had an advanced astronomy knowledge. They could pinpoint constellation in the sky, and they have proper calendar system. Okay. and they knew the geography of Asia. They knew where the Tibet was, where the Russia was, where the Japan was, and so on. So they knew the geography of Asia. They knew very well geography of Bharat, and they had a very good knowledge of geological, botanical, and medicinal knowledge of plants, animals, and medicines. And in the part of human geography, they had well-towned plans. Town planning was predominant and exists in, the beauty of Ravana Lanka is mentioned in Sundarakanda. How beautiful the lanes were and how beautiful the houses are built. It talks about 7-storied houses during the time. Okay. So town planning and engineering was very well advanced during the time, 7,000, 8,000 years back in India. It talks about trade routes. So it's just not building, there was proper trade. So people were traveling across India, crisscrossing India. Okay. And not just within India in land routes, there were ocean routes to different part of the world. For example, Indonesia, different islands of Indonesia, till as far as Philippines. And in the west side, it goes to Africa and parts of Europe. So therefore, it talks about there is a proper oceanic navigation. So people knew when to travel, when not to travel. So when the trade winds picks up, they know when to travel and when not to travel. Therefore, there is a proper shipbuilding industry in India at the time. And also, as I mentioned, there is a minerals mines. There was a mineral mining existed during that period. Okay. So these are the all different things we can learn from Valmiki Ramayana. So I conclude here, and you are welcome to ask questions.
Gauri Shankar,
Yes.
thank you so much for a wonderful talk.
Yes.
And as usual, you always connect well with the audience, and your research and the preparation of the content of the slides is always wonderful to see. I would suggest that questions be asked by raise of hands.
Is Aushadhi Parvatam in Nepal now?
It is in Trans-Himalayan region, as it said. It is in the whole region. Okay. So we can pinpoint that geography. It talks about alpine region. Okay. So this is spread across the whole of Himalaya range and more concentrated in a river system called Kinnara river system, which is in present day Himachal Pradesh, Himachal and Nepal region. Okay. North of Uttar Pradesh. Okay.
Okay. So we have Shankaraya ji. Please ask your question.
My question is on 7,000 years plus. And I had very nice. Incidentally, we are reading Ramayana right now, Valmiki Ramayana.
Okay.
We are just entered yesterday on Kishkinda Kanda, first Sarga.
Beautiful.
You feel that whatever we read and whatever you are explaining is really hats off. It's incidentally, I just got into the chat this one. My question is simple. We know that Adi Shankara is about 2,500 years back.
Yes.
Because if you really see the Kanchi's Panchangam,
yes.
it clearly explains year by year who is the head of that institution for last 2,500 years plus.
Yes. Yes.
And that is undoubted. And there's no question of doubting. True. And we heard that Mahabharata, the war took place about 5,000 plus years back.
Yes.
And right now, I thought, the Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, the years, what is explained in Bhagavad Gita and whatever, see this, only after retirement, you try to get in very short period of the knowledge on this, not able to speak as a party, but whatever trying to read, we are just trying to correlate. just trying
Yes.
to. And we talk of all these people ruled for very long periods, and the talk of Rama's ruling is such a long period. The 7,000 was not sitting in my mind. I think since you asked, you can ask a question. I had free to ask this question. That's my point. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, the Yuga system, what we traditionally follow, is different in different times. Okay. So the Yuga in Rigveda is just 19 years. Okay. So it's not like millions of years. So the description of the Yuga, what technically starts from called Surya Siddhanta. Surya Siddhanta is the one of the first astronomical, mathematical, really scientific description of timelining. Okay, how long ago it was created, we cannot date it. It could be as far as 30,000 years ago. Okay, we do not know, because the Mayasura, who is son of Brahma, he gave this Surya Siddhanta. That's what the tradition says. Okay, so when the Yuga system formed and how during the thousands of years, what happens is Yuga system changes. People change according to their own conveniences. Okay, so in Puranas, various Puranas talks about, it all starts with this Lakshana, which is Genesis, which is the cosmogony, which is the genesis of the universe. Most of the Mahapuranas, 18 Mahapuranas, talks about this genesis of the universe. In that, the unit of time from Nimisha, from Triti, which is the smallest unit of time, till the largest unit of time, the age of Brahma. Okay, and different manvantaras and different yugas are mentioned properly. Okay, the contextually how we have to understand is very interesting. Scientifically, they all go together. Okay, so it has to do with precision of Earth. Okay, the Earth every 26,000 years it precise along its axis. Okay, 25 to 26,000 years. And some of the scientists say that is equivalent to one manvantara, something like that. Okay, and each manvantara has 71 units. Okay, and they divided this the whole precision based on 71 stars in the sky. Okay, so it is just 1111 degree. Okay, so it's very interesting. Scientific analogies do exist. Okay, we need to discuss more, and we need to understand it more scientifically. But it's all possible. So the Yuga system during Ramayana period and Mahabharata is slightly different. The calendar system was little different because it has to be keep updated. So the scientists, the rishis, when they see the change in positioning of the stars, they rewrite the Panchanga. They change the calendar system. And slowly it changes. The unfortunate thing is that the calendar system was the tradition of keeping calendars in India. The schools were existed till 18th century. Okay, and due to the influence of and change of British system, the education system is turned into more into British system, and traditional systems were lost. And gurus who were continued till time antiquity till now, we have lost that knowledge. Okay, so we cannot pinpointly decipher how the Yuga system at that period. So that's the problem now.
Great. Thanks a lot, Gauri Shankar, for the detailed answer. I think we have Harshavardhan again with his second round of questions. So, Harshavardhan, over to you.
Yeah.
And, Harshavardhan, I think you are on two devices. Please. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Is it clear now?
Yeah.
So, so my doubt is that we have established that 7,000 years ago was Rama's birth,
Yes.
and then but it says that Rama ruled for 10,000 years
Yes.
after his exile. How is it possible?
Yeah.
If it was if it was 7,000 years ago, and he ruled for 10,000 years old, still there will be 3,000 years left. How is it
Yes.
possible?
Yes. So that is what we are saying. When we say yuga is not same as year, samvatsara. Okay. So when it's said, even the terminology what we're using at samvatsara during that time and what we're using today could be different. Okay. So for example, we can say the time difference is different. I mean, we are using the 365 days year as samvatsara today at present times, which may not be the same during that time. Okay. So he ruled for a certain period of time, and that's what means said. And the units, what they used and what we are using now is not same. They are two different units. Okay.
But it's a brilliant question, Harshvardhan. I think
Yes.
it's an amazing question.
Yeah. He is
Uh,
very
I
he's
think Gauri Shankar that
wonderful.
tells us that somehow we want to try and correct our dates according to the common era right now,
Yes.
because everybody wants to have believable dates.
Yes.
And history, unfortunately, is nowadays written according to believable dates, and everything condensed to 2,000, 3,000 years of human civilization, and as if nothing existed before that.
Yes.
But I think we need to take this question very seriously, because on one side it is about concept of time, as you rightly said, and on the other hand, how do we date Ramayana accurately? Third would be the concept of yugas, the kalpas, for instance.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it's a brilliant question. We need to appreciate that.
It
Yeah.
is.
Okay, Harshvardhan, what's your next question?
Yeah, my next question is that did Hanuman return the Aushadhi like Parvatam?
Yes. Even there could be an exaggeration, but he did brought. Okay. Another interesting point is a lot of people talk about, did actually Ravana had Pushpaka Vimana? Did it actually fly? Okay. So the Valmiki Ramayana, if you read carefully, it talks about Vimana which floats. That means it's an air balloon. Okay. The hot gases were pushed and the air balloon was created. So even in 100 years back, when the first air spaceships were created, first one was the air balloon. Okay. And the I mean, 100 years back, the Heidelberg, the big airship which was created, it was made with rubber or leather, okay, and some material. During Ramayana period, it talks about, in Valmiki Ramayana, it talks about the balloon was created with silk, okay, and the silk balloon was created and hot air was pumped and it used to float. So so that is what the clues we get from Ramayana. As recent as 15th century, there is a legend in Iran and Turkey region, that one of the kings there, he had hot air balloon, and he traveled. The legend says he traveled from the Iran and Turkey region to the China, and he came back. Okay. And the description of the air travel is exactly the same. It's a hot air balloon made with silk. So it is, so the air routes were there. The Vimanas were there. It probably is the hot air balloon, which was prevalent in India during Ramayana period, and it was forgotten. It was rediscovered, and the legends were true stories spread across the world. And the recent legend or the historical incident from Iran, which talks about a hot air balloon traveled by the king, is another clue that we can say that the Vimanas did exist. So similarly, when Hanumanji brought the Parvata to Lanka, he could have brought something. How he brought it, we do not know, but he brought some huge chunk of the Aushadhis.
Okay,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Gauri Shankar will keep the answers short as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
Harshvardhan will come back to you if you have more questions. Gayatri Kasim Shetty
All
has a
my
question.
questions are clear.
Okay.
Oh, great. Thanks, Harshvardhan.
Namaskaram, sir.
Namaskaram.
A very amazing explanation. You have related so very well about Ramayana to the present times, geography, trade, shipping, all those, etc. Very
Yes.
well narrated, sir. My doubt is, are Vanaras present times monkeys? Can we say that?
Yeah, as the Sanskrit word itself says, Vanara, the people, the Naras who live in forest. So we can say they are, we can imagine they are to be apes, higher apes. So, I mean, the 7,000 years back, there could be different aspects to the humanity. Okay, so we probably have the forest living features, maybe more. Okay, during in those tribes who are living in forest for thousands of millions of years. So yeah, I mean they are vanaras. They're just forest dwelling apes. It could be humans, or they are humans who are more apt to living in forest.
Oh, okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
But I guess we don't have a clarity on that. As I think it's best to leave it as apes, or as you rightly said, forest dwelling humanoids of some sort.
Yes.
Hmm. All right. If there are any final questions, we will take them. If not, we can bring this to.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah. Okay. One last one then.
Who made Rama's bow, which was used to defeat Ravana?
That's like a quiz question, Harsh. This is not a quiz, and
Yeah, I mean the stories comes from the Shiva the Dadachi Maharshi, I guess. He gives his bones. I mean that's what the Puranas and the Mahabharata says. From his bones, different ayudhas are made. So one, the bow, which was broken during the Sita Vivaha. I mean, in a that what do you call
Swayamvara.
a Swayamvara. That was one of the bow which was given to Ravana. He was bringing it back from Kailasha, but he got tired and he left it there. So that was one of the stories. One of his Meru of Dadachi Maharshi, which is his spine, is given to Indra because he's Indra because he's a god of Lord of gods. And the third one was given to Vishwamitra, who gave to Sri Rama after he killed Tataka, the demon, and he gave to him. So he had that bow. So it is the same bow that he helped to kill Ravana.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Once again, Gauri Shankar, for an enlightening session. We will hope to bring more sessions to the audience through Hindumitra. And thank all the audience for actively engaging and participating. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Jai Shri Ram.
Wonderful session. May I please have the PPT, may you send the PPT and recording of this session?
Yeah, we'll place the recording on YouTube and share it in the groups. Okay. Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Namaskaram. Thank you.
Thank
Namaskaram.
you.
Jai Shri
Namaskaram.
Ram.
Thank you.